Thank you everybody for coming. I appreciate it. My name is Lieutenant Joe Pangaro. I conduct threat assessments. I go to buildings, schools, any place human beings gather, and I try to figure out where their security profile is weak and try and help them make it better so that we can survive. So I guess the reason that everybody is here today is we're worried about getting hurt. We have responsibility. In the modern world, if you run a business, you are the manager of a business, you run a school, any place human beings gather, the reality is we can have danger and people can get hurt. The combination of human factor, somebody like me, that comes out and helps people understand their security profile, that helps train staff, and then technology combined with that is what's going to make for a safer environment. The problem that we have is that it's sometimes confusing to understand what equipment do we actually need, what is worth the money, what is the training that's right. So we're going to cover a couple of things. So the first thing we're going to go through here is who am I? So the first time I show up anywhere and I go to do a presentation, the first thing I tell everybody, you should ask yourself, why would you listen to this person? Right? Don't a lot of people want to talk to you and they just want to talk to hear themselves? So I spent 27 years in law enforcement. During that time, I was mostly in the investigative division. I worked my way up. I ended up as a lieutenant, and they said, hey, you gotta make their schools and our businesses and our malls safe. So I was trained by Homeland Security, how to do assessments. I retired, and I decided I could push a broom in retirement, or I could do something more valuable. Now, I wanted to sit and go to the beach. I'm from Jersey. Mrs. Lieutenant Joe had a different plan. She wanted me to do something else. So I went to a large school district to see what they needed. I was very able to transfer a lot of my skill set from law enforcement, safety, and security to the schools. But then since then, I've done it for religious facilities, businesses, anything where people get together. We are a past K-12 partner. I do write. I have a couple of books out on conducting interviews and doing investigations and all that kind of stuff. So I've actually done these things. I've done several hundred different assessments and helping people to be better. I train people all over. So that's where I come from, and that's why I tell you. I don't know everything. Anybody in this building of safety and security experts that tells you they know everything is not telling you the truth. There's always something more to learn, something more to do, something more to experience. I learn from every single person I come across. So that's why I want to talk a little bit about this stuff today and maybe give you some ideas to look at. At our program, we're going to talk about helping schools react quickly. There's a couple of coined phrases that I use to help me remember things and kind of really put things into perspective. The idea when it comes to an active shooter or someone who's coming into your facility to hurt you, the concept we got to remember is time equals life. The more time you have to see it coming at you, the more time you have to react to it. The more time you have to prepare yourself, the better you're going to be, right? So when I talk about approaching danger at all of our facilities, we're going to see a video clip in a minute of a business in an office, which can be any office, school, anywhere, that is not prepared. And then we'll look at a couple of, ask a couple of questions about what they did right and wrong. All right, we're going to combine that human event element with technology. Because if you have just technology, it might be great, but if your people are not prepared or not trained, don't know how to use it, which I find all the time, people buy great equipment, it's awesome, very powerful, but their staff don't have any idea how to really use it, and that's a problem. All right, so one of the first things we're going to find out about Lieutenant Joe is I like to have a little drink of water, and Mrs. Lieutenant Joe said I should put it in a cup or should turn away so you don't see me drinking. That's a joke. We got to lighten up. This is very serious stuff, life and death. That's one of the hardest parts of what I do. I talk about life and death. People die in our businesses and our schools. When I tried to boil this down, because I only have a certain amount of time, people ask all the time, Lieutenant Joe, what can we do at my building? What can we do at my school? How can we save everybody right away? It is complex, and anybody who's involved with security knows it is very complex. So I tried to boil it down to what I call the 3 pillars of survival. Now, if you look at each pillar as we go through it, and you spend time on each pillar, and you vet it out as much as you can, you'll be a much safer situation. So the first pillar is preparation. Preparation means training your staff, having the right equipment in place, having good policy, good procedure, and actually practice. I think there's a statistic out there that says 69% of businesses in America do not have a plan and do not practice. So when we talk about active shooters, we worry about the kids. We worry about the children because they're our most vulnerable. But in reality, schools are only 1/3 of places where active shooters take place. They take place in your businesses, in every other place that we get together in, right? So we have to pay attention everywhere. The second pillar is communication. How does somebody in your facility tell everybody else that there's danger? So I went to a major newspaper in New York, and they have a huge facility, and they had an incident in the back. Nobody else knew something was going on. How do you notify everybody? We have danger. Lock down, flee, call the police, whatever. Communication is very important. And then I used to say, the third pillar, just notification. How do you call the good guy and good girl guns to come and help you? How do you make that notification to the police? Who's allowed to make the call? What does your policy say? How do you do that? And recently, I've added this fourth pillar, mental health. Now, do we worry about mental health in America? We talk about it a little now, but do we give it what it really needs? We don't. We have to do more. If you worry about the mental health of the people in your facilities, your students or whatever, you can very often see danger before it arrives. People don't wake up on a Tuesday and decide to come to your school or your office and kill everybody. This is a buildup that happens. People have what's called leakage. They say things, they draw things, they make comments to other people that we have to be trained to listen to understand so we can respond. So the mental health component goes a long way there. These events are fast. I think we're all pretty surprised how quickly they can go. 2 to 15 minutes. That means covering the 4 pillars. If we do that, we should be in a little better shape. Let's watch this video here real quick.
Larry? What are you doing? Where's Michael?
What do you mean?
Where's Michael? Where's Michael? Where's Michael? Where is he? Where is he?
Larry, calm down. What are you doing here? Calm down. Relax.
All right, that's a little graphic. How long did that take? 2 minutes? So let's ask some questions. Was that facility prepared in any way, shape, or form to see that coming? Did they have cameras outside the building? Did they have a security operations center to watch it? Did they have security locks on the doors? Did they have intercoms to ask, I need to come in and see Bob Jones? Well, who are you? Right? They didn't have any of those things. They did not have the right equipment. How about that staff? Do you think they were prepared? Is your staff prepared? Do you do real drills? Do you talk about this? How good is your policy? Have you updated your policy? Right? You got to make sure it's up to date with best practices. So how do you prepare? Right? They give me 20 minutes here. This could obviously take days, so I'm going to try and cover this as quick as I can. First step for any facility is to get an all hazards threat, vulnerability, and risk assessment. You have to know where you're weak before you buy anything. Right? Salespeople will sell you everything. What do you really need? When I went to the school district, they spent a ton of money before I got there for things they didn't need because the sales team was great. When I got there, I had to help them adjust. So before a physical plant, you want to get your building checked out, get a good assessment, and then create a human threat assessment team. Whether this is a school building, the district, in your business, when a threat comes in, it can be a social media threat. It can be a writing. It can be something somebody says at the water cooler. What is a threat? Do you even understand what that is? How do you respond when you hear someone say something? Right? You have to train people to look at it because in many cases, if we can intervene before they kill us at work or in school, that would be much better. Right? And we can see a lot of this coming. People, like I said, don't wake up and decide to kill people. Preparation means proper training of your staff, getting the right equipment in place. Protecting your place, practice your plan, actually run a drill. Well, Lieutenant Joe, that costs a lot of money and people don't want to. Take the time to run a drill. So I'll give you a quick example here. Major company brings me in. I do a whole program on how they should respond to active shooters, danger in the building. We're going to do a drill that afternoon. They have about 250 employees in cubicles on the second floor. I send a guy in with an airsoft gun, screaming and hollering, popping rounds. There's 4 doors to leave that floor to go down and get out of the building. About 235 of them went to the door in the back on that side, and they got jammed up. And the shooter came in and did what a shooter does. Then we did a debrief, and I said, hey, why did you, not the first 20 people, why did all the rest of you go to that door? That's the way we go out every day. What about the other 3 doors where there was nobody? And then about 7 or 8 people ducked under their desks because they said, I can't get out. They didn't even think of the other doors because they never practiced. So practice, practice, practice. All right, staff training drills, technology is important. You know, in Sandy Hook, I've been privileged to know Michelle Gay. Probably all of us in security know Michelle. She lost her daughter, Josephine. And the teachers in that building had to go out in the hallway with a key to lock the door. When there's trauma taking place, like a guy with a rifle lighting up the hallway, the last thing you're going to be able to do is use your fine motor skills and stick a key in a lock. It's not going to happen. So you need to have locks that let you lock from the inside so that people can get in and close the door and lock it so they're safe. Right? We got to keep them out of the building in the first place. That would be important. Find a partner to help you vet these products and provide guidance to you. There are people out there like me that can help you, tell you what's really good and what's not, evaluate what you need and what you don't need. So some of the preparation stuff is window glazing. Did anybody see the Covenant School video? The Covenant School? They actually had good equipment. They practiced, they did good things. And the killer shot the glass, 2 rounds dropped the glass, just like Sandy Hook, and stepped right in. There's inexpensive stuff you can put on the windows to slow them down. How about keyless door locks? You got your staff running around with keys. Anybody have key control problem? Losing a key, losing a master key, you don't know who has the key. Swipe cards are very good. There are keyless entry systems now that don't require the wiring in the building. You can use a swipe card and it's battery operated. It lasts a very long time. Door propping system, universal control systems, weapon detection, virtual guarding, places that can help you in areas where people shouldn't be, and somebody goes there and sets off an alarm, and a person at a central station gets the clip, sees it, and can talk to them. Hey, what are you doing here? Can call the police, can say what's going on, why are you there, right? It speeds up your response because time equals life. The faster we go, the better we can save people. How do you tell everybody in your building? Do you have a system? Say a teacher or an employee is on the second floor and they see somebody walking towards the building with a rifle, like our friend in that video. Who do they call? What's your policy say? Can they put your building in lockdown? Do you even have a system to notify everybody? Or is it basically going to be, do the best you can when the shooting starts? Right? We don't think about these things till we have an event. And that leads me to this question. What is the most dangerous thing anybody can ever say when it comes to surviving these events? What's the most dangerous thing you could say? What's that? I can't hear you louder. Fire. Right. Close. How about it will never happen here? It'll never happen here. I hear that every place I go. Well, you know, we're having you come in because we need to do this, that, and the other thing. The reality is it can happen anywhere. And here's the question. In schools, before the lockdown system we had, the whole pandemic, there were about 30 real school shootings a year. Not gangbangers fighting each other onto the property. In the school, somebody pulling a gun or attacking the school. After the pandemic, there were about 60 a year. There are several 100,000 schools. So 60 into 200,000, your chances of being involved are very, very small. Same thing for our businesses. So I asked this question, can somebody here, anybody who came here to listen about this, tell me when and where the next active shooter event will take place? Just raise your hand and tell me, because I'm going to go there. Lieutenant Joe's going to pop out of the bushes and be a hero. No, you can't answer, I can't, nobody can for 15 years. That changes our statistic to a reality statistic. It either happens to you or it doesn't. 50-50 means you better be prepared. You better be prepared with equipment, training, and make sure your staff knows what to do. So communications, there's all kinds of things. Wall-mounted, cell phone, auto dialers, Wi-Fi, laptop, there's tons of stuff. What do you have? Check it out. And then notification, how do you call for the police? How do you get them there to help you? How do they know you're in danger? Because time equals life. Now, some people, don't tell Mrs. Lieutenant Joe. Some people are lucky, the cops are right there right away. Other places are not, you have a long time. You have between 2 and 15 minutes before everyone who's dead is going to be dead. And you better be able to lock down safely and call for help. So in Sandy Hook, when the killer came through, first thing he did was kill the principal and a counselor, the 2 people that were allowed to call a lockdown. The only way it got called down is that a custodian who had military experience heard the gunfire and started screaming lockdown. It was over very, very quickly. You have to prepare to survive for that time. All right? Combining the human element with technology is your best bet to create a safe environment. Training, drills of value, policy, plans, equipment from a respected provider. I was very lucky. I met Napco. They brought me here. Said, hey, go tell people how to be safe. Right? I'm not here to sell you their stuff. I'm here to tell you how to be safe. Right? But I want to thank them for bringing me out here. I like coming to Dallas. I'm going to maybe get a cowboy hat. That's another joke. Can anybody, you know, you're a tough audience at a security show late in the day. You know the bars are going to open in a few minutes. You're all going to be laughing. All right? I want to thank you for coming by GSX. I want to thank Napco for having me here, for making this presentation possible. Like I said, it's only 20 minutes, but we could go into these things and such minutia, but things we don't even pay attention to. You have to think about everything. Have someone help you if you don't know how to do it, because no matter what happens, if you own a business, you're a school superintendent or school board, anything happens in your facility, anything, there's going to be a lawsuit. And you're going to go to court. And the first thing the court's going to say is, could you imagine this would have happened in 2023? And your answer has to be yes. And then the follow-up, of course, is, and what did you do about it? Well, we don't have any money. We didn't have money for this. We didn't have money. It'll never happen. Add zeros to the checks you're going to pay out. That's the easy side. Never mind losing personnel or losing students killed in your facilities. So do the right things. Think about it. We're here at a security show for a reason. Pay attention and don't be afraid to ask questions. I have my contact here. All right, you can reach out to me. I never mind an email or a phone call. I don't charge to answer questions. I would rather you be safe and answer a question for you than to have you worried about, oh, well then he's going to follow me up with 1,000 questions. I don't do that. If you need me, you'll know you need me and you'll reach out. I'm going to be over at booth 3421 for the rest of the day having a nice icy cold cocktail, an adult beverage. I'm told they're going to provide that there. So if anybody wants one, or 5 with Lieutenant Joe, I would love to see you over there. Thank you very much for coming out. I appreciate it. Be safe, be secure, do the right thing.